Hello and welcome back to A.I.W's Wrestling Recap. We're back, Cronus.
Another week. Yeah, a whole nother week.
A whole another week of wrestling has passed by. What I thought was an okay week of wrestling. I think I'm just in the mood for SummerSlam now.
Yeah, it's the calm before the storm.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Saturday, 3rd of August before SummerSlam, so SummerSlam has not happened yet. We're going to go over our thoughts on Monday Night Raw, Wednesday Night Dynamite, and Friday Night Smackdown, which is just taken place a matter of hours ago. A.I.Jeff's got the day off again. We're going to get accused of false advertisement if he keeps this up. But yeah, A.I.Jeff doesn't appear on the recaps because he's got better things to do.
Yeah, he's writing songs.
Yeah, he's in his studio. He's writing. Yeah, we got some more ideas cooking with Jeff, so he'll be back.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Monday Night Raw, which I believe was Monday. I don't know what date it was. Whenever we cross over into a new month and I try and figure out what days were before the 1st, I just get lost. So 28th?
It was the 29th.
29th, okay. Yeah. See, I got it wrong. So Monday, the 29th of July, Monday Night Raw. This was a go-home show, which we've come to experience go-home shows as kind of average. It's almost like they've done everything they can to build the pay-per-view, and then it's kind of just, they'll try and put some sprinkles on top and then just filler for the rest of it.
Yeah, it's fairly sort of, you don't want to get anyone hurt before a pay-per-view.
Yeah, there is that as well, yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
Especially if you've been building it all for all this time.
Yeah, very true. So, Kronus, how do we start Monday Night Raw, the go-home show for SummerSlam?
Well, the very, very opening was shots of sort of everyone arriving, people like Punk, the tag champs, just people showing up.
Yeah, I kind of like this edition. It's something we never really saw before, was it?
But and it's you had opponent against opponent, so one would arrive, the other would arrive, and a little bit on each from Michael Cole.
Yep.
Good start.
Yep. So setting the scene.
Yeah, but then we had Seth Refereekin Rollins.
Yeah, Seth Refereekin Rollins.
I've written down. Coming out looking absolutely ridiculous.
As he does. Yeah, we all knew that was going to happen, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be what he's going to wear at SummerSlam. Or if he's going to go even more outlandish.
I'd imagine so. As soon as he was announced as referee, the memes were just all over the place. I even put one out myself. I just Googled, fluffy zebra-looking dress or something.
I mean, that's technically what it is.
Yeah, I guess so. I wasn't far off.
No. So Seth's out really for a promo with both Punk and Drew. And so he quickly gets into saying, let's bring out these morons. Which, starting off on a good foot.
Yep.
So Punk comes out first, and then Drew a lot slower. And transpires nobody can put their hands on anyone. So the rule between Punk and Drew about not touching each other also applies to them touching Seth.
Yep.
So it's going to be a everyone wants to fight but can't fight segment. Which I don't think we've had for a little while.
No, and I like it because it builds anticipation.
Yeah, definitely. And you sort of think, oh, are they going to try and antagonize each other? And
they
absolutely did. So Seth basically goes over how he hates both of them. But he is the boss. He's the law. So he can count 0, can count 10 if you're outside, 20 or not at all. DQ is at his discretion. So we could have an interesting match.
Yeah, I when he said that, I kind of got the impression that this could be like a glorified street fight. Because Seth, if he hates both of them, he probably wants them to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, that's the best outcome for him, isn't it?
Yeah, and we definitely need a definitive winner. So I don't see I see Seth taking bumps as well. I think it's gonna be chaos. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, ends all fired up with Drew holding up the bracelet, asking Punk what he's going to do. But they didn't touch each other.
No, and I thought Drew was very good here as well. He was very passionate in what he said. That bit where he just looks at CM Punk and says, "I hate you." It just felt so real and off script, didn't it?
Yeah.
Just so blunt. Loved it.
The whole sort of feud is just spice.
Oh, yeah. Best feud of the year by far.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we're seated for that one. We don't know where it's going to fall on the card yet. That information hasn't dropped, but I think it'll be middle of the card.
Yeah, it's about sensible with the title matches we got.
Yeah, it's the only non-title match on the card, I think. Yeah, it still feels more important than most of them, which is a problem in itself, but very excited.
Yeah, definitely. Don't think it needs a title, as we said.
Mm-mm.
And then the first of the night, Judgment Day segment.
Oh, yes. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's a pretty short one. The clubhouse has been vandalised. Obviously, it's Liv, and they're all saying it's obviously Liv. And then Rhea says she's going to damage Liv at SummerSlam.
Yep. Yeah, Liv, again, trying with the Psycho Girl gimmick, which she's tried a few times and it hasn't really worked. But yeah, I think at this point in this storyline, I'm just ready for it to kind of come to an end soonish.
Yeah. There's not really much more you can do, is there?
No, and I think something's going to happen with Judgment Day at SummerSlam, but I think Rhea and Liv will probably carry on after SummerSlam.
Yeah, I expect so. And then we had another entrance, followed by a segment. So Alpha Academy head down to the ring, but then we got back to the Judgment Day.
Oh, again.
But Priest arrives, and Finn's saying how he's going to go it alone against Gunther, because Priest is going to go it alone against him at SummerSlam. Rhea's going to go alone against Liv. Carlito needs to sort out Sammy, so Carlito goes off, presumably to get a match with Sammy.
This was funny. This was really funny.
Yeah, so we'll find out what happens later.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
But then we have the Creeds.
Yeah.
Coming down. Yeah, they were really impressive here.
Mm-hmm.
One notable moment pretty early on, I noticed Julius was sat down, sort of just sat in the ring after a move of some sort. But Tozawa sort of leaps at him and he catches him in a suplex grip, like upright, and then stands up and drops him.
It's incredible. I mean, I know Akira Tozawa is a light gentleman, but we've seen enough of Julius Creed to know that he is one of the best athletes in the whole company at the moment.
Just obscene, yeah.
I think he's got worlds of potential as a singles guy. I think they both need to work on their charisma a bit first, but that'll come with time. They've got the raw talent.
Yeah, hopefully being with Chad sort of sets them up.
Yeah, Chad being their mouthpiece is perfect because Chad has charisma oozing out of his ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, love the Creeds.
Yeah, I'm glad they're finally getting some decent TV time.
Yeah, I think making them heel is a good idea as well.
Yeah. So it was a pretty decent match.
Yeah, that's okay. Forth. Otis took the pin, I thought was odd. But
yeah.
But no, I don't know if they're still trying to kind of drum up sympathy for Otis. Not that he needs any because everyone loves Otis.
Yeah, he's already over.
Yeah. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball with... I think the timing of the Otis and Chad Gable thing was a bit unfortunate with the Wyatt Six coming in. So I feel like they could have done a proper payoff when the iron was hot with Otis and Chad Gable. And I think for a while we thought it was going to be Chad Gable versus Otis at SummerSlam. There's a big match.
Yeah, potentially.
But I think with the Wyatt Six coming in, that was obviously very important. It just kind of all got a bit muddled. And it probably wasn't what it could have been. But where we are here anyway.
Yeah, so Creed's another impressive feat from them with a double avalanche back suplex onto Otis for the win. But there's an inevitable beatdown on Otis and Tozawa. Maxine does try and get involved, jumping on Chad's back and slapping him. But she's backed into a corner by Chad with the Creeds behind him. And that's when
The
the
inevitable.
lights
Yeah.
start to go.
Yeah, and it still perks my interest. It still gets me excited, even though I know it's coming. I'm always wondering what's going to happen next, and what we got here was awesome.
Yeah, I'm liking how they do it in stages rather than just like lights out that we've seen a million times before.
Yeah, and it's what The Fiend did, didn't it? It was kind of like the stage by stage, and even that little sound at the end of the lights going out, that brum, kept that alive as well.
Yeah, I'm glad that bit at least is still going.
Yeah.
So Chad and the Creeds are still in the ring when Gacy, Rowan, and Loomis appear on stage. Head down to the apron, get on the apron, and then all unmask.
Yeah.
So we finally see what they all look like. And Dexter, what a transformation.
Oh, he looks so badass.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah, he looks like he could be the front man in like a new metal band.
I noted he looked kind of Viking.
Yeah, like Rob Zombie-esque. That's what I thought. With the X on his head as well. We all know what Eric Rowan looks like. No surprise there.
Yeah.
Some of us know what Joe Gacy looked like. He hasn't changed his look, but he has always had a good maniacal looking face.
Yeah. He's always seemed that little bit unhinged. Yeah,
and I wasn't expecting them to unmask like this. Nor was I expecting them to get physical. And then Nikki Cross was on the top rope, wasn't she?
Yeah. Jumps on Chad, I think it is.
And then you'll see, if you look closely, as she gets off Chad, she takes her mask off as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, she unmasks as well. But I think because of her long hair and the pose is difficult to tell, but she did take her mask off. Yeah, they got physical. They did that thing where Loomis ran against the ropes and Gacy just pop-up powerbombed him onto the Creeds. They both did Uranagis, which was a nice shout out to Bray. Then Eric Rowan kind of just cross-bodied them both.
Yeah, he's long enough.
Yeah, he's long and he's big. But yeah, I like that. I think this is probably the step that we needed. It was to see their faces and see them get physical.
Yeah, and ends sort of with Chad running, backing up the ramp. But who's behind him? Uncle Howdy. So he legs it off the side stage.
Anti-Hello, we call him.
Anti-Hello. But yeah, ends with Chad running off the side stage and Howdy laughing.
Yeah, and there's just something about Uncle Howdy walking, doing that twirling thing with his finger.
Yeah,
so you think that's so cool.
Old timey.
It's just so it's just so cool and so creepy. But yeah, and the match is confirmed for next week, where it's Gacy, Loomis, and Rowan against Chad Gable and the Creeds. I was curious how they were going to do that, because obviously there's 4 of one team and 3 of the other. So I think Bo being left out probably makes the most sense for now.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would be on SummerSlam, but it is in the venue where the Wyatt family made their original debut. So that's nice, I guess, on Monday. But yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, would you believe it? Another Judgment Day segment.
You're joking.
I'm not.
I am. I can't believe my luck.
Carlito is joking in it, though. So, he comes back, says he's made the match with Sammy, but it's versus Dom.
That's cool.
So they were all like, what the hell are you doing? And then order him to go and take care of Jay instead. Pretty much.
Carlito is... I actually quite like this Carlito character, where he's just a buffoon.
Yeah.
He's just he's just an idiot in the Judgment Day. And he's kind of like if you take Sami Zayn in the Bloodline, but obviously make it like 100 times not as good. That's what Carlito is in the Bloodline. I can't even call it diet honorary use, because it's worse than diet, but I do get a laugh out of it.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same role. Just comedy relief, isn't it?
Yeah, essentially.
But yeah, it's working. And then we had Sheamus versus Big Branston Reed.
Big Branston Reed, the pickle man.
So
Not a lot happened
large
here,
knee
did it?
yeet is what I've written.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot happened as expected. Big meaty man slapping meat. Sheamus goes for a bro kick in the corner, and Pete Dunne pops up with something we've not seen for a while. A shillelagh.
Yeah. Peter Dunne with his shillelagh.
Yeah, and just clock Sheamus, which leads to Branston hitting a tsunami for the win.
Yeah, and one of my favorite modern finishers is the tsunami, just because of how amazing and impactful it always looks.
Yeah, he's huge. It always looks horrific.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's kicked out of it yet, have they, on main roster? It's one of those, like, it is a match ender.
Yeah, no, it's good they're doing that.
But yeah, I'd like to see Bronson Reed. I think he's been very good and consistent since he's been on main roster. I think he's being very patient. I think his time will come where he will get him. I mean, can you imagine like him and Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental title? He signed me up.
Yeah.
Him and Dragunov. I think he sort of belongs in that IC picture, which is honestly at the moment looking like one of my favorite divisions in all of wrestling.
Yeah, good workers again.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll see where he fits in, but yeah, definitely love me some Bronson Reed.
Yeah, definitely. It's good that he's just consistent at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Just doing his thing. He talks well, always wrestles well, so I'm sure his time will come.
Indeed. And then we had a Damian Priest video promo.
I like this, yeah.
Gunther grew up with "Here you goes," basically saying he's had everything handed to him. It's like, oh, you want this? Here you go.
Oh, thanks.
But he doesn't have what couldn't be handed to him, which is heart.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those old reliable. Yeah, it's one of those old reliable kind of like, you know, working class hero storylines, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, I've got heart, you're arrogant, and it works. I think it gets emotion into the feud, even though it's kind of overdone, but it's, you know, it's a winning formula, isn't it?
Yeah, and I forgot I'd noted this down. But when he says street trash translates to Puerto Rican badass, actually it translates to Basura de la Calle.
Thank you for that. I appreciate the knowledge.
You're welcome. But then we had Jay entering down the ramp for once.
Oh yeah, didn't come through the old mezzanine.
Nope.
Maybe they didn't have the facilities.
Maybe not. Maybe there was some security concerns.
Yeah.
But then, in continuing fashion, after Jay's entrance, we had a promo from Bron Breakker.
Yes.
Backstage, well, pre-tape probably, saying he's not gonna. He didn't take him seriously last time, which was a rookie mistake. And he's not going to make it again, essentially.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this Monday Night Raw was kind of, you know, vignettes, video packages, getting us hyped for SummerSlam. I like the fact that they included the bit about rookie mistake. I still don't think it was a good idea to have him lose like he did at Money in the Bank.
No.
But as long as he wins tonight, Saturday, fine. Do you reckon he squashes Sami Zayn? I've been wondering this because Sami Zayn is the underdog, the dogged fighter who can, you know, rise above hate, never give up, like John Cena. And I just wonder it'll be maybe not a squash, but like I said this last time, like a John Cena, Brock Lesnar SummerSlam 2014.
Oh yeah.
Let's go, Cena.
That one. Something like that, where it's not, yeah, it's not like a 20-second squash, but it's just a long, difficult to watch, drawn out, constant beatdown.
I'd prefer that.
Yeah,
to a squash.
I would love that because I think everyone agrees, and it's no disrespect to Sami. I actually think Sami is above the IC title. Everyone agrees Sami shouldn't be winning this match. And Sami's going to be put into the biggest storyline in all of wrestling in the Bloodline anyway.
Yep.
So I would have Braun just absolutely dismantle him.
Yeah, it's a perfect time to make Braun into a superstar.
Yeah, if you want to build up Braun as the future of the company, which he definitely is, then you have him absolutely dismantle probably the greatest underdog of our era in Sami
absolutely.
Zayn. So hopefully, but we'll see what happens.
We will. So yep, then we had the Jay Carlito match.
Oh,
Which
don't care.
no, my notes are pretty limited, so it's just all right match.
It happened.
And then spears the apple out of Carlito's mouth for the win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care about either of these guys in a wrestling capacity in a singles, to be honest.
No,
Again, this was just some filler, wasn't it? On the go home.
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it happened.
Yep, not bad, not good. It's all right.
Yeah.
Then we had a segment backstage with Zelina and Jackie Redmond.
Yeah.
Calling DeVille and her lot Team Forehead.
Forehead.
But then Team Forehead show up and surround her, beat her down a bit, but then Savage, Shayna, kicks that arm thing she does on the floor.
Yeah,
Does
yeah.
it against like a door.
Yeah.
It just looks brutal.
She forwards the arm back,
Yeah.
and then steps on it.
Like moving my arm into anywhere near that position just hurts. So
yeah, poor Zelina. Team Forehead though. They need a fourth member now. Like Metaphor, because they got 4. They need Team Forehead, but 4 is spelled Four. So if they can find another woman with a large forehead, get your applications in.
Scouring the indie scene for it.
Yeah. Have you got a big forehead? You're in. What was next?
So next, we had just a little segment with The Miz.
Oh, yeah.
So after the Shayna arm door kick, we had Miz backstage announcing that he was hosting SummerSlam in his hometown.
Yeah.
Town.
It's home time.
Which is nice. And then some classic comedy with Truth about hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned In Your House as well coming back. That's quite funny.
How are you getting all that in your house?
Good old R-Truth. Protect R-Truth at all costs.
Treasure. But yeah, we had that. And then another match that's sort of Woods and Cross.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, Cross started with a promo saying Kofi hadn't re-injured his shoulder. He just skipped town because he's a coward. Offers Woods a final way out to join Final Testament and say the power of positivity was a lie all along.
Oof.
Yeah, that was really the only bit to write home about.
Promo was good.
That match.
Karrion Cross is always an excellent promo.
Yeah. Match was pretty average.
I mean, we've said it all before, haven't we? We don't know what's going to happen. I guess we'll just wait and see what they do with Cross. But I'm, for one, sick and tired of trying to figure out what's going wrong with Karrion Cross.
Yeah, I really don't know.
It's not my job to figure it out, but it is frustrating.
No, definitely. After this, we had Jackie Redmond again backstage with Sami Zayn this time, reacting to Braun's promo earlier.
Yeah.
Sami saying he underestimated me, but he isn't anymore. Constantly jumping me from behind. So it's not about teaching a lesson this time. It's about beating his ass.
Oh, yeah.
And he says he's going to handle Dom now and then makes his entrance.
This is another filler match, wasn't it?
Yeah. Much like we said at the start of the video, this whole show was pretty much going to be. But,
yeah.
True to form, we had a live promo after Sami's entrance, burning things.
Oh yeah. I guess it was okay. It obviously expresses her emotions with what happened with Dirty Dominic Mysterio last week and Rhea Ripley. But yeah, again, just ready for the match now.
Yeah. I still think she's trying to be manipulative.
Yeah,
just putting this on.
Yeah. I think there's definitely some subterfuge afoot.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, after that we had Dom and Sami. As you said, another sort of Yeah, all right match. Just ticking over.
Yeah, I think Dom's improved a lot in everything he does since he was almost 2 years ago now, wasn't it? Clash at the Castle in Wales.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's improved immensely. Still don't care about this match in particular, but I think Dom will have quite a good career going forward in the ring.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's getting better and better each time he's out
Yeah,
there.
and he's surrounded by the right people, so yeah, I think he'll be fine.
Totally. Yeah. So yeah, it's a decent match. DQ finish because of JD and Carlito
Yeah,
coming down to distract and then break up a pin. But after, Braun attacks Sammy, as they mentioned in their promos before. Sammy gets the boot up into a spear, which was quite cool, I thought. But Braun Breaker escapes before taking a haluva kick and tries to run back in when Sammy turns to face the crowd, but Sammy turns back and boots/fumbles him out of the ring again.
Sammy gets the last laugh for once.
Yeah, so true fashion, if Sammy's coming out on top on Raw, he's probably losing SummerSlam.
It is written. This is the unwritten rule.
Indeed.
And well, we'll test that theory with the Raw main event as well.
We will. But then we had another short but sweet Wyatt segment.
Yep.
Dexter Lumis this time.
He spoke.
Was it him speaking?
Yeah.
Or sort of like,
well, it wasn't him
in his head.
It was I think it's the Uncle Howdy altered voice speaking to him, but at the very end he says run.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, for me, that's the first bit of dialogue I've ever heard from Dexter Lumis. For me.
I certainly can't remember hearing anything else from him.
Yeah. He's always been that kind of silent psycho killer. So to hear him just scream run was cool.
Yeah. Really good.
I think he is going to be I don't want to say the best member, but I think he's going to be a standout.
Probably most surprising one.
Yeah, I think he's probably got the biggest redemption arc.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't really utilized in an in-ring capacity very much. So I'm looking forward to seeing him kill it.
Definitely, yeah. Roll on next week.
Yep.
And then we had a backstage segment following that with Chad and Pierce, with Chad saying he's found out who the remaining members of the Wyatt Six are.
Great work,
Pierce
Chad.
is like, yeah, they're under contract. Which I thought was a pretty good nod to it, like being rooted in realism.
Yeah.
This is when Chad asks for the 6-man tag next week. So Pierce asks him if he's sure and makes it official.
Yep.
Careful what you ask for.
Exactly. Can't wait.
And then we had the Rave Girls and Lyra make their entrance.
Yep.
And then adverts and a Rhea return promo, basically saying no more running, hiding, or manipulating from Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much more there. And then we had Rave Lyra versus Team Forehead.
Team Forehead.
So Rave Girls and Lyra continued to just make new stuff up. There was a notable spot where I think it was Lyra and Caden were sort of like steps up to, can't remember who was in the corner, but basically Katana Chance runs up them, does a Meteora in the corner, it just looked mental.
Yeah, I think the Rave Girls are awesome.
Yeah, really good.
And I've noticed something recently, and we'll talk about it on the Smackdown portion of the show. They're building up quite a few women's trios. So we've got Team Forehead, or Team Threehead. We've got the Rave Lyra, which is what we're calling them now, I guess. We've got Damage Control. And we've also got, as of SmackDown, Blair Davenport with the Unholy Union. and we might get Naomi with Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. That's like 6, is that 5 or 6 women's trios?
Yeah, that's women's faction warfare.
Keep
right there.
keep an eye on that. Definitely. I'm hoping it's not going to lead to what I'm thinking.
No, don't need double bringing any trios titles.
No, that would be bad.
It's just to make maybe sort of people that would have been in tag teams normally and maybe not so interesting.
Yeah,
bit more interesting maybe.
Yeah, and obviously it's good for war games as well.
Yeah.
Because you're going to need established teams for war games. Because when there's no women's teams and you've got war games, it's just 5 singles women against 5 singles women, isn't it? Usually.
Yeah, no, that's a good shout actually.
But yeah, keep an eye on that. See what happens.
Definitely.
Is this the match with the cold tag? Shall we say? The not so hot tag from Lyra.
I mean, I don't know. It looked like she knew.
Yeah,
it wasn't going to make it. It was just for dramatic effect.
I think it's because of the meme version I saw on social media.
Yeah.
With the "I Believe I Can Fly" soundtrack and the slow motion. But
that did make it a bit funnier than maybe it was.
Yeah. But yeah, who won this match?
Zoe got the pin with a really good C360 on Katana Chance.
Her finish is fucking badass. I love the C360.
Really good.
It's just like you're spun around upside down really quickly, and then you get a kneecap to the forehead.
Just yeet.
That's what a finisher should be.
Yep.
A harsh, knee to the forehead. A gimmicked knee to the forehead, I might add.
Somewhere Punk is smiling.
Somewhere Punk is smiling, yeah.
Somewhere, whatever his name is in Japan is
Kenta.
Really
Kenta. Yeah. Gimmick infringement.
Pretty much. But after that, Damage Control entered, all looking rather slick, and beat everyone down.
Yeah, are they babyface now?
I still can't tell.
I mean, they're obviously very popular within social media. We know that, especially Dakota Kai. I think they should be babyfaces. I mean, if it was me, I would have Io and Kairi break off as heels and have Dakota go solo as a babyface. Eventually, because I think Dakota she was a wonderful babyface at NXT, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was really good down there.
And then she's turned on every partner she's ever had, so we'll see.
She's a modern day Sting, wasn't it? Sting turned on his partners, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But yeah, lots of women's trios happening at the moment.
Yeah, can't complain. Get more time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Happy days. So after the Damage Control beatdown, then we had a promo from Gunther in some empty stands.
Yeah.
He's saying how he's given Priest twice now a chance for the easy way out. Saying Priest uses his business as a cure for his childhood trauma, which was pretty savage.
Yeah, it was.
And then he shifts on to Finn, saying how he used to look up to him, but now, pretty much by association, you're also street trash.
Good old Gunther.
Says, let's see if the old Finn is still in there, preparing for the main event.
Yep. Gunther versus Balor, first time ever, wasn't it?
Yeah. And just before that, though, we had a little Damage Control segment backstage where the Japanese girls spoke in Japanese, but there wasn't any subtitles at this point, so I just guessed. And
Wild
Dakota
guess.
sort of challenges Sonya, I think, for next week.
That'll be a banger. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, good to see him in the ring.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Nice to see Sonya back wrestling. I think Dakota's decent in the ring.
Yeah, she's had a lot of time off with injury as well.
Yeah, they've both been off, haven't they? Almost concurrently. Although Dakota was on TV a lot while she was injured.
Yeah.
Whereas Sonya was completely off TV. So
she did a bit of general managing, didn't she? Sonya? Something like that.
Did she? Yeah, maybe. I think so. Yeah, because I think
Might have been brief, but
yeah, because she was with Adam Pearce for a while, wasn't she? As like
yeah,
general manager. But yeah, it's just nice to see them both back.
definitely. So that leads us to our main event.
Main
Right.
event time.
Gunther versus Finn Balor, which on paper, pretty decent match, I think.
Yeah, I think on paper, I think this struggled with the fact that it was two heels. I
Yeah.
find it kind of has an effect on the crowd because
Well, sort of Judgment Day are definitely more sort of facey comedy act now, aren't they?
yeah, I think
Really?
so. I think eventually Finn is going to go full heel, and Priest and Rhea will be faces.
Yeah.
But I think
see what you mean here.
from a crowd point of view, there's no clear baby face. It's not like Cody versus Roman, for example.
Yeah.
So I think from the crowd point of view, it probably suffered a little bit because of that.
Yeah.
And I think I prefer to see this match, on pay-per-view to get the full
something
potential.
with stakes
No adverts.
between these two. Yeah, that as well. But yeah, I've written here many chops throughout, but not constantly. Lol.
You hear that,
Harking back
Suzuki?
to,
You hear that, Jericho?
not naming any names.
I am.
Yeah, you are. But yeah, it was a competitive, decent match, which is the least we could expect from these two.
Yeah, absolutely.
And finish was sort of a choke into a powerbomb into another choke, which I thought was quite good. Balor just passing out.
Yeah, I think passing out's the right way to go. Protects Finn a little bit without going down the interference route. I just think Gunther's Arsenal is so good. Like how many finishing moves have we seen him win with?
Yeah.
We've seen him win with a powerbomb, a sleeper hold, a Boston Crab,
Diving
splash, a lariat. He can win with like 5 or 6 different moves, very much like Will Ospreay in that respect.
Yeah, it's really cool that it sort of gives him this aura of like almost any move could be the finish for him.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Gunther wins as you would expect going into a world title match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, and he continues to choke out Finn afterwards, which prompts Priest running down for the save. And a nice big brawl to take us off air.
Yeah, and then I think Priest puts Gunther through a table, doesn't he? Through the outs table.
Oh, yeah.
Which, again, Priest stood tall on the go home, so I don't know. Yeah, I predicted Priest to win, so I hope not. But yeah, that was Monday Night Raw. It was okay.
Yeah, standard go home show.
Yeah, it wasn't anything
Didn't
special.
need to be anything more.
No. That leads us on nicely to A.E.W. Dynamite on Wednesday.
Yeah. So we open there with the American champ MJF trashing the South. I think they're in, is it North Carolina somewhere?
Yeah, Greensville, North Carolina.
Classic. Calls them all meth addicts.
As
among
you do.
other things. But then asked them to please rise for their American hero, meaning him.
Yeah.
And then Ospreay's music hits with him belting it down to the ring. And MJF, as you'd expect, just legs it.
Yeah. Cowardly heel.
And then we had some promo from the Bruv, basically saying keep running, as you would if someone's running away.
Yep.
After talking about my family, I'm going to inflict pain you can't imagine. Calls him a prick, I've noted.
Classic British slang.
Yeah, I'm glad we're getting some representation.
Yeah, big up.
Definitely. But then MJF sort of comes back, but really to set up that he's hired Lance Archer for a match with Will.
Everybody dies.
Yes, they do.
Or everybody wins in Lance Archer's case, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's like the monster to conquer, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll talk about Lance Archer in a
Easy over.
second.
Bless him. But yeah, this leads to Archer versus Osprey, which opens with a huge chokeslam from Archer,
Yeah,
which looks amazing.
I really like this match.
Yeah, look really good. I mean, they're both really decent workers.
Yeah.
Which is a shame for Archer.
Mm-hmm.
Just not doing much recently. But he sort of dominates the opening. Good beat down outside, back inside. So the next spot of note for me was countering the Oz Cutter into a Bossman Slam.
Yeah,
Archer, like ridiculous.
crazy.
He is really fun to watch. So I don't know why he doesn't get more TV time.
No, we'll talk about it once the match is over. I've got a few thoughts on
Yeah.
Lance Archer myself.
So Lance takes a top rope Spanish fly. From
Yeah,
Will.
that's awesome.
Another feather in his cap. And a savage clothesline counter from Archer for the hidden blade.
Oh, yeah, because you could see he was, as he was getting up, he had his head turned, you could see.
Yeah.
And, yeah, inside. I love an inside-out clothesline. I think it's one of the most aesthetically pleasing moves in wrestling.
Yeah, from our finishers video, I like a clothesline.
Yeah, the old clothesline from hell.
But yeah, that was really, really good. But what was quite unexpected, Archer kicking out at 1 from an actual hidden blade.
Yeah, this
Not too long after.
This confused me a little bit. I saw some talk on social media about this that apparently, so one thing I've heard is that the hidden blade that he kicked out at 1, apparently Osprey missed it by quite a distance, and it didn't look like it hit him.
Right.
So I don't know whether they kind of called an audible. Oh, he didn't get all of it, and that's why he kicked out, and then he did another one. But yeah, I think if you look at the replay of the first one, there is quite a noticeable gap where the contact is. Obviously, he doesn't hit him full force for real, but
yeah,
I think the first one there was a noticeable gap, so I think they just redid it.
I mean, that's a fair ad lib.
Yeah,
I
think so.
Yeah, decent. But then after kicking out at 1, he takes another one straight away, and Osprey picks up the win.
Yeah,
much better looking hidden blade.
Yeah, Osprey picks up the win against Lance Archer. Lance Archer. So I wasn't aware of Lance Archer before I watched A.I.W. because, as we all know, I've been an E-drone for a long time. And when I was introduced to Lance Archer, I love this guy because I love big guys doing extraordinary things. Bronson Reed, Gunther, Lance Archer, big guys doing Jacob Fatu, guys who do things they shouldn't be able to do. And Lance Archer is way near the top of that list for me. I don't know whether Tony Khan prefers smaller guys to bigger guys. Maybe he does. Obviously, Tony's a big fan of like the indie scene and stuff, and the bigger guys have been more of a WWE thing for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lance Archer. I thought when MJF when it was revealed that MJF's like, oh, I'm gonna get Lance Archer to face you. I was thinking like, what's Lance Archer done in AEW to be any threat to Will Ospreay? Like in terms of being believable, I just thought to myself, he hasn't really done anything. He's been shown in, dribs and drabs, and when he has been shown, he's been impressive, but he loses all the time. And then he disappears for a while, and then we won't see Lance Archer on Dynamite probably for a long time after this, and I think it's a shame. So I'd like to see him do things more meaningful. I get that it's difficult in AEW because of the roster size, and as we found out this week, you can't keep everyone happy. But yeah, I think Lance Archer's great. For this match, I thought it was a good match. I just didn't have any kind of, I just didn't really believe in the meaning of Lance Archer against Will Ospreay.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that much of a challenge.
No, not really. If Lance Archer had been tearing it up and killing everyone for weeks, and he'd just been taking out former world champions, with relative ease, fair enough. Then if I
Yeah.
was Will Ospreay, I'd be terrified. But he hasn't, unfortunately. And if he can perform like that, and he can dominate large portions of that match against Will Ospreay, man should be in the world title scene.
Yep.
So, but we'll see what they do with him. I don't know how old Lance Archer is. I don't really know much about him.
Been around quite a while, I think. I saw him like in bits in TNA.
Okay.
It's quite good. The Rock and Rave connection with Jimmy Rave, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was sort of pulling moonsaults, doing all the crazy stuff he was doing.
It's nuts.
Way back then.
Yeah, but I hope he does something. Maybe he's happy doing what he's doing. I'm sure he's getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
As long as he's happy, that's the main thing. But I want to be happy as well. Yeah, I want to be happy as well. And more Lance Archer on my TV makes me happy.
Definitely.
Is this when we got Carl Fletcher MJF thing? Was that straight after?
So MJF attacks Will from behind, hits a brainbuster, and sort of starts going for the ring, setting up for it. Which is when Carl Fletcher in a crop top runs down to save Ospreay.
Yeah.
And we get a Carl promo, which was unexpected.
Yeah. I love Kyle. I think Kyle's great. I've always liked the Australian accent. I think Kyle's great in the ring. He cut a very good promo here, very passionate.
Yeah.
I think I said to you privately, I just wish that they'd sort of built up him becoming a more babyface character before this promo.
Yeah, it did seem sort of like... I mean, they had the thing when Will left, the Callis family.
Yes, it was like a glance, wasn't it?
Yeah, because they've been together in United Empire so long, and obviously we've heard about them staying with Will when they came to the UK.
Yeah.
All of that. So they're really good friends on and off screen.
Yeah.
So it was kind of there, but yeah, there was no real sort of prelude to it.
No, and a lot of people, especially if there's this whole discourse about viewership and stuff, if you're going to kind of retain larger casual audiences, a lot of people might not know Will Ospreay and Carl Fletcher's history. So, and you need to spoon feed people sometimes, because a lot of people who watch wrestling are casuals. So sometimes you need to just put it in their face. This is what's happening. But apart, it's a minor criticism. Honestly, it's nothing. But I thought everything else about this was really good.
Yeah, no, really decent. But yeah, following that, MJF responds as well, because Kyle challenges to a match next week. Which is now official.
Yeah, looking forward to that. I'm pretty guaranteed that'll open the show.
Yeah,
I think they've settled into a strategy now of MJF needs to open the show because he is the biggest draw. So I think for the instead of Orange Cassidy defending the All Atlantic title, whatever it was. Remember every single week it's Wednesday. You know what that means? Yeah, it's Orange Cassidy opening the show. So I think now it's going to be MJF opening the show, which I think is the right thing to do.
Yeah,
just to kind of
pull people in early.
Yeah, and keep them as well.
Yep, exactly. So after that, we had a backstage segment.
Oh God,
with Marquez and
hi guys.
You know it. So Large William has a cake, which he reveals to show is celebrating Jericho's 102nd day as FTW champ.
I thought that was funny, and my first thought is that they need to do a cake for every single day he's champion. That would be hilarious.
Every time he appears on TV.
Do it on social media. Literally every day on social media. Just film like 10 segments in a row or 20 in a row with different cakes and just put them on social media all the way until All In. That would be unbelievable if they did that.
Every day.
Every single day until All In. So what's that? 28 days? No, 20. I've completely lost count where I am. 23 weeks and 1 day. What's that? 22 days.
Yeah.
So for the next 22 days, just air clips on social media of Large William giving Jericho a cake for 103 days, 104 days, 105 days. That would be great.
Book it, Tony.
I mean, you can give me a job in creative if you want. I mean, I don't do much, but I can do stupid shit like that if you want me to.
Not quite Vince Russo, but
I can go lower.
Close enough. So at the end into this, we had Bad Apple challenging Shibata to a match next week.
Oh boy, howdy!
Just be good to see Keith wrestle, I guess.
I guess it'll be good to see Keith wrestle, but it's just not something I'm really excited about. I mean, he went from what was he, the bounty hunter, Brian Keith? Yeah,
I mean, that was weird, but it was.
Yeah, because I never once saw him A, take, or B, redeem a bounty on the show.
No.
Was he on the Indies? Was that his gimmick on the Indies as well, or is this a brand new thing? Do we know? Do we even know who he is?
So. I think initially he sort of came in as one of like a local talent, maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about him, if I'm honest.
He's very good in the ring.
Yeah. No, I've liked him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But yeah, Brian Keith against Shibata. I'm sure it'll be a fine match, as long as it's not a repeat of Jericho and Suzuki. Good God.
No, I don't think it will be. They've both got more in their repertoire than that.
Yeah, the wrestler against the Bad Apple. Who's part of the Learning Orchard.
What a banner that is.
Yeah. So yeah, that will happen next week, and we'll probably watch it. Any more than that, can't really tell you right now.
Yeah, we'll see. After this, we had a CMLL Women's World Title Eliminator match.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is.
Try saying that twice.
I won't.
I might do that after a few drinks. Just try and say that.
Yeah, I'd get lost after CM. So it was Chris Statlander versus the CMLL champ Willow.
Yes.
Pretty good match, as you'd expect. But I didn't expect Statlander to pick up the win.
Yeah. Obviously, it's rare in eliminator matches for the champion to lose, so that was cool. I feel like this feud is kind of stagnating a little bit now. It hasn't probably. I get they're probably trying to stretch it to All In, but I think it's kind of stopped on the trajectory a little bit. So it started off hot, and then it's sort of flatlined at the moment. And I think it needs to kind of go up a bit. It needs to be kick up a gear, you know.
It's plateaued.
Yeah, I think Statlander needs to do some like heinous shit. You know, she needs to do something really bad, proper. You know, like Mariah May did to Toni Storm. That's what was needed in that feud, because that kicked it into the next level. They don't need. Obviously, I don't want Statlander to beat Willow's face in with a shoe, but something like that would probably be good in the next couple of weeks.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I assume that match will be All In.
Yeah.
I don't really care for the CMLL women's title. I don't think this feud needed a title, full stop.
I think it just so happens that she's their champ at the moment, maybe.
Yeah, it's because
it's been going since before she was.
Yeah, it's because Stephanie Vaquero went to WWE. That's why this title is, you know, free to be won. But yeah, title does nothing for me. But I reckon they can probably do a Street Fighter All In, maybe lights out match, whatever they call it.
Well, Statlander winning with the chain.
Yeah,
starts it off in that direction.
And she hit her with a chair afterwards, didn't she?
Yeah.
Obviously, Stokely's always great.
Yeah.
We love Stokely.
Statlander beat up some security.
Yeah.
Some future world champions.
Some future world champions getting beaten up by Chris Statlander. Classic. I mean, you know, I'd be afraid of Chris Statlander, to be honest. So
yeah,
I wouldn't mess with her.
No, definitely not. And then we had flashback to when Jeff Jarrett interrupted Brian last week when he was backstage with Renee. Really just to set up his in-ring promo following that.
Yeah.
Brian says.
Yeah, this was probably the most noteworthy part of the evening.
Yeah, so he starts off essentially saying his contract was up tomorrow.
Yeah, he is. As of recording, Bryan Danielson is a free agent. So that's wild. But at the same time, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, definitely not. He's got locked in at All In, at the very least.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what happens after that. But classic Fire sort of on the verge of retiring promo.
Yep.
Came here to kick heads in and win the world title. And he's kicked a lot of heads in. But Hasn't won the world title.
No, he hasn't.
No. So naturally, eventually Swerve comes down.
Yeah.
So he respects Brian. But also notes that he may not even walk again after All In, let alone walk out of there.
Yeah, I mean, they're really blurring the lines with Danielson's fitness, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which I like.
Kayfabe and what's not.
Exactly, which is very, very good.
Mm. Yeah, pretty savage, both of them, I guess.
Yeah, and Danielson obviously says to Swerve, "If I lose, I'll never wrestle again."
Yeah.
Which then got every person who watches wrestling to get their pen and paper out and write down the 1,000,001 things that could happen in this match now.
Yeah.
So while we're on the topic, I think this match needed this because I think we've talked before about how having somebody win a tournament to challenge for a title can often lead to quite, samey formulaic build. It's like, the reason I'm here is because I won a tournament, etc.
Yeah.
But Danielson putting his career on the line, A, makes this way more unpredictable than it was prior. And B, it really just makes you think past All In.
Yeah.
So for me, I think Swerve's winning and Danielson retires, personally. I've seen a lot of people say that Danielson's going to win. And he might do. I'm 50-50, but if I had to pick one, I'm going with Swerve. Because
I wouldn't hate a Brian win.
No, I wouldn't. I think Brian deserves it, and I think Brian is top 3 of all time. All said and done. I think Swerve. So before Swerve beat Ospreay, his title reign was kind of meh. He wasn't really treated as a priority. He was put on in the middle of the show with no promo time. It was just like, what are they doing? And then he beat Ospreay, which is, wow, that is a big feather in the cap. You beat Will Ospreay. You are solidified as a badass.
Yeah, in a cracker of a match as well.
Imagine what it does to him if he beats Brian as well. At the biggest show of the year, if he can beat Brian Danielson.
Yeah.
It makes Swerve an absolute superstar. Brian has been probably the most unselfish man in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
We will know he doesn't care anymore about winning titles. I also think that, and this is not a knock on Brian Danielson at all. Brian Danielson, I think, has come to A.W. to have great matches with great wrestlers, which is what he wants to do. He hasn't really been involved in many big stories within A.W. He's been more focused on the, having great matches with great wrestlers, like Will Ospreay, for example.
Yeah.
He had a bit of one with the Blackpool Combat Club, but I was always confused with the Blackpool Combat Club because one minute they were face and they were heels and I didn't know what they were. And one minute they were together and they were in the tag division, now they're in the singles division. It was just a bit of a mess. So for that reason, I think Swerve wins. However, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm looking at Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania 30, right? And I'm thinking, I can do better than that. Now, he can't, because that moment was an all-time moment in wrestling history. And the build-up to that moment was one of the best stories ever told. But I can see Tony wanting to give Bryan a moment like that. Finally winning a title at the biggest show in the main event. So for that reason, yeah, I can definitely see Bryan winning. But if I had to pick, I'm going Swerve.
That's a fair shout.
What about you? Any early thoughts based on Danielson's stipulation?
I don't know if they'll have him finish it all in or not. I'm really not sure.
Well, the thing is, if Swerve wins, then it means that Bryan Danielson, as of now, has already made the decision to retire.
Yeah.
Because obviously he retires if Swerve wins. So a decision has been made. as of now on Danielson's future?
Well, Brian's been saying he's retiring from full-time wrestling, but here he said he's never going to wrestle at all
Yeah,
if he loses.
exactly.
So, semantics, but could mean he's going over.
Well, if he wins, it would mean he's a part-time champion, technically.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Brian does win, I don't think he keeps it very long. I don't think he needs to keep it very long.
No.
You could have someone like MJF take it off him, run that back, and if MJF wants heat, who's the best heel in the who's the best face in the business? One of the best faces, Brian Danielson.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are things you can do. I'm just excited for the match. I think it'll be great. I don't really care who wins. I've got no preference. It's just it's just a difficult one to call.
Definitely, especially now.
Yeah, but I think it was much needed, and it really kind of ups the ante.
Yeah, more intrigue. Never a bad thing.
Nope.
No. So after this massive revelation, we naturally came back down to earth for the conglomeration, as they're being called, which I think is an awful name. It's just
It's so
cool.
bad, isn't it?
There's just nothing like badass about it at all.
No, they might just call we're the paper clips.
Yeah. So who is just Ishii, Orange Cassidy, and Briscoe
I don't care.
versus another random thrown together team of the Beast Mortos, Roosh, and Roderick Strong.
What the hell, man? Like,
Yeah, what's going
they're
on?
all fantastic wrestlers.
Yeah.
But this is what
Absolutely.
happens when you throw random fantastic wrestlers together. They don't look that fantastic anymore because they
I mean,
don't stand out.
It was an all right match.
Yeah,
You know, the Beast Mortos is the beast, pun intended.
he's Black Taurus, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Do we know
can't
why
use
they
the name.
do we know why they changed his name? Is it a copyright
Some
thing?
legality, yeah. I think I can't remember which. Was it CMLL who was in, or the other one?
Yeah, I think or
AAA.
AAA. I think yeah.
Might have been AAA if he's not able to use it.
Yeah, because I think the Beast Mortos is the Death Beast. Is basically what they're trying to say with that, which is awesome. Death Beast.
Full name, the Beast Mortos.
Yeah, I think he's awesome. Again, big guys doing extraordinary things. That's my jam.
Yeah, just bonkers lucha things. Yeah.
But this match I didn't care for. It was good, but
yeah,
forgot about it quite quickly, I guess.
Yeah. We don't normally cover Collision, but didn't he join the Undisputed Kingdom?
Oh fucking hell! Yeah, I heard something about the Beast Mortos. Was that a dream? Did I dream that? Is that actually a thing?
I don't know, but you told me. So.
Yeah, I mean, I might have dreamt it. I hope I did.
I hope you did.
Hang on, if you bear with me a second, let me have a quick look.
I mean, Mortos really needs to just be booked as this chaotic force that he clearly is.
Yeah, let me because if I'm booking this, I'm like, right, Beast Mortos, he's got a lot of heat. He's getting, some good, shit here. Yeah. Oh, let's put him with the most dead stable we have.
Vince voice.
Yeah, let's have a look. So there's a post here from Rampage last night. We see a video package for Darby Allin, Mark Briscoe, and FTR versus the Beast Mortos and the Undisputed Kingdom tomorrow night on Collision.
Right.
Oh God, it's true.
Is it?
Yes, Beast Mortos he's teaming with the Undisputed Kingdom.
Right.
Don't know if they're a thing. Either way, I don't want him anywhere near the Undisputed Kingdom. I don't think it's their fault that it's just cold and dead. It's Adam Cole's injury, which sucks, but gotta let it go, man. It's just not working. But Beast Mortos, yes, big fan of Beast Mortos.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. But yeah, Mortos picks up the win.
Yep.
For the heels, and then we go to an Acclaimed backstage segment, which I've noted didn't really listen to.
Yeah, you are a wise man by all accounts.
Yeah, I'm guessing they were just bigging up the Acclaimed for the tag titles, which they're yet to challenge for. Yeah,
is that going to happen at All In? It has to at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's going to, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
at this point, I don't know who. I hope they both lose. You know what I mean? It's one of those matches where I just don't like either team.
Ooh. Aren't they? Aren't we expecting a Stadium Stampede or
Well,
something or other?
Well, Jack Perry's facing Darby Allin 1-on-1. So I think Stadium. I actually think Stadium Stampede is going to be Learning Tree related. I said that as a joke a couple of weeks ago, but I actually think it's going to happen. I think we're going to get Jericho, the Bad Apple, Big Bill, and like I said, some other poor bastard against Samoa Joe, Hook, Shibata, and God, I hope it isn't Suzuki.
Probably Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it'll be fun because it's Stadium Stampede and it's always fun. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be Elite against Team AEW.
Yeah, that's a shout.
Because they all have other matches, don't they? Because obviously, Buck's got to defend the titles. Jack's got to defend his title. Swerve's in the main event against Danielson. So yeah, I think it'll be something else.
No, yeah, makes sense. We had a little backstage interview with Mariah and Renee.
Yeah.
Basically said she wanted to be like Tony, and she did. She got close to her and then wore her skin.
Yeah, I was pushing for a little bit more here, just a bit more of the why. And I'm sure we'll get that. We've got 3 weeks left.
I did like sort of the lines, like Tony said, this business will eat you alive, but it's my turn to eat now.
Yeah, it's very clever. I still think it's the best feud we've got in AEW. Yeah, it's really, really good.
There's more to come as well.
Yeah,
which I'm excited for.
What was next?
Yeah, after that, immediately we had Tony Storm on stage.
Artone
looking like a mime. No, Tony Storm, yeah. Oh,
Artone.
One of our tones.
One of our tones, yeah.
Looking like a mime, kind of. I sort of thought.
Yeah, she's sort of less Marilyn Monroe now, isn't she?
Yeah, definitely.
She's more Sharon Stone. Kind of like the slick black blonde hair, and a bit more unhinged.
Definitely more unhinged.
Yeah. I was expecting us to get Chainsaw Tony back, but not yet. Obviously, I do still think we get that at some point because that is Tony Storm, isn't it? At the end of the day,
classic. So you mentioned her going mental. She was headbutting the shoe.
Yep, as she should.
Yeah. Not afraid of no shoe. But after this, we had the Brick House, Camille, which is her actual name now. The shit Brick House.
Mercedes was like, I need to call somebody. Vince, what should I call my my muscle? You call her the Brick House. God damn it.
Yeah.
What an awful name.
It is quite bad. I think she was called Camille Brick.
Oh, is that her name?
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, okay. Brick House.
I don't know why they didn't need to do that. But she does look $1 million, however.
Yeah.
Camille. Yeah, absolutely. Squashes a local yokel.
Local yokel. Yeah. I'm a fan of the move, by the way. For people who think I'm shitting on this, I am a fan of Camille and Mercedes. I just think the name's terrible.
Yeah. Camille looks like she's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
One with like a sit-out dominator.
Nice, yeah.
Looks really cool. And then Mercedes Moan welcomes Camille to the Money Corporation.
I don't like that either. Yeah. I don't like that either.
I don't know. I mean, if it takes the focus solely off Mercedes, then maybe it might be a good thing. Because she's getting quite annoying quite quickly. Yeah,
like I always thought to myself, Mercedes is better as a heel than a face, and that is still true. But yeah, I just think, I agree. I do find her quite abrasive.
Yeah, so shifting that focus slightly.
Yeah, I think the rumor is it's going to be the Renegade twins. Was it Robin and I can't remember the other one? The Renegade twins apparently rumored to join. Could be fun. More women's stables in wrestling that have meaning is all good with me.
Yeah. Gives them all something to do.
Yeah, let's just not introduce any more titles.
Yeah,
Please.
got plenty. But yeah, Mercedes welcomes her. So you can see why we call her the Brick House. It's like, well, kind of, but it's still a shit name.
Yeah, they were going to call her the Brick Shit House, but the Warner Brothers were like, maybe not.
Yeah. And now you're the shit Brick House.
The shit Brick House. Yeah, there's a potential for a slip up there, isn't there?
Yeah.
It'd be like a Hulk Hogan slip up. We
Yeah,
got the
not
shit.
right guy.
The Brick Shit House. It's not worth it, mate. It's not worth it.
Oh yeah, we'll see how that goes. Mercedes says she's been victimized by Britt, but not too much else.
Yeah, and at this point, we didn't know that Britt's suspension was actually a legit suspension for
Yeah.
a confrontation with MJF and his girlfriend. So that was a surprise.
Yeah.
I hope nothing else happens, especially between these two, who historically have shown that you have quite big egos. So can they coexist
Probably not.
in the company? I hope so, because I really want to see that match at All In.
Yeah, they're both brilliant workers.
Yes.
So hopefully this is a work.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
All right. So after that, we had our main event, which I think for the first time ever, 1-on-1, Hangman versus Darby Allin.
Yeah, I can't believe it was this was the first time between these two.
Yeah, something fresh from two really good workers.
Yeah.
And it was spice from the start, really. Brought to the outside, and Darby goes for a springboard coffin drop, but gets caught into a German on the stage. Well, that was a great way to start.
Yep, 100%.
Bell's not rung yet, so they fight up the stage, where they go sort of up to the entrance tunnels, and you start thinking, Darby's going to do it.
What's Darby going to do to himself today?
Yep. So he beats down Hangman a bit, climbs one of the sort of trusses, are they called?
Tunnels? They're called tunnels?
Like the almost scaffolding type thing on the side of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's go with scaffold, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that
climbs word. That. With coffin drops off the top, as expected.
Yep.
Classic Darby. They head back towards the ring, and then fight back outside again with the steel steps. And I think some unique use of it as well, the steel stairs.
Oh, this was hard. This was a difficult bump to watch, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, I think Darby gets sort of whipped into them. He gets, but flips over them and runs back up them.
Yeah.
But that's when Hangman catches him, sort of in the front carry almost.
Yeah.
Slam.
Fall away slam into the steps, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, hits him into a ring post, does a couple of apron power bombs, and then hits that fall away slam.
Ugh.
Which just looked gnarly.
Yeah.
Onto the stairs.
Pretty sure Darby is he's made of thicker stuff than the most of us, should we say?
Yeah, it's like a Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. It's full of silicon.
Beat him up, yeah. Nothing really hurts him.
No.
Just pretends. But yeah, that was absolutely savage. Like onto the actual stairs themselves, not like just the top flat bit.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
Yeah, into the edges of each step.
Yeah. And that wasn't the Steps' final cameo.
No.
There's a spot where Paige is sat on them facing the ring outside, and Darby suicide dives him off them.
Oh God, yeah. Fun. As you do.
Yeah, so a nice chaotic match. And then some point soon after that, Darby goes for a buckshot, but gets lariated himself. Another inside out.
Yep.
But then takes a double deadeye, which I thought was really needed to put him down.
Yeah.
but collapses into before he can get hit with a buckshot, and then Darby scrapes a roll up out of nowhere after
Yeah.
getting destroyed.
Yeah, I thought it was a great match.
Yeah,
I probably would have preferred Hangman to get the win because Darby's already got his title shot from
yeah,
winning the Battle Royal. I saw some people saying that, Hangman's getting more deranged with every loss. I'm like, well, Hangman's been deranged ever since Swerve broke into his house and threatened his child.
yeah.
That's
I mean
all.
that.
That promo he did like a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
in the backstage on social media, where he's just screaming about this man broke into my house. I had to move house because this man broke into my house and threatened my child.
Yeah.
That's the realest shit I've ever seen in AEW.
I mean, he's justified.
Yeah, he's a babyface. He is a goddamn babyface, and I will not hear any different. But yeah, I thought Hangman could have done with the win here because I don't know if they're going to do Hangman and Swerve again anytime soon. They've been teasing it. Like, the whole reason Hangman wanted to be in Blood and Guts was to get to Swerve. He wanted to win the Owen to get to Swerve.
Yeah.
All he cared about in Blood and Guts was Swerve. And then one of the reasons I think Swerve's going to beat Danielson is because I don't want to see Swerve and Hangman again without the title because we've seen it 3 times already.
Yeah,
I want to see Swerve and Hangman for the title. Now, does Hangman cost Swerve at All In? I hope not. Takes away from Brian's moment. I don't know. I don't know what they do, but Hangman losing here and losing the Owen and losing Blood and Guts, he's not really putting himself in good contention for a title shot, is he?
No, not really. I mean, it's not the best return, is it?
No, 3 L's in quick succession, and his only he beat Jay White, didn't he? But
yeah,
his only other W was beating Jeff Jarrett, which took him like 20 minutes. So yeah, Hangman, I think he's probably one of my favorite characters at the moment. His presentation is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see what he does for All In.
Indeed.
I guess we'll find out soon because Tony's going to start really filling that card out soon. But that was Dynamite, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. Decent show. Should we quickly go over last night's Smackdown?
Yeah, I haven't made any notes on this one. So
yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we'll just breeze through it. Not a tremendous amount happened. So we started with the American Nightmare, the American Hero, Cody Rhodes. What do you want to talk about? Like,
not you.
I mean, that whole "what do you want to talk about" thing that got old the second time he said it.
It's so cringe.
And it's been 2 years since he said it. So yeah, don't like the intro. Cody Rhodes, yeah, he basically just calls out Solo Sikoa, essentially.
Oh yeah.
Solo Sikoa acknowledges, comes to the ring alone. He sort of comes to the ring with this coat on, but he's not got his arms through the sleeves. He looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was or why anyone would do that. But then
they're trying to make him look like a mafia boss for some reason.
Yeah, and it makes it easier to kind of take the coat off in one motion, which he did on the steps. But up until that point, it looked stupid.
Yeah, Wade Barrett did a similar thing on his intro, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had more of a cloak, though, didn't he? Whereas
it was kind of a jacket that he sort of just wore on his shoulders, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's because it was a full suit. It looked a bit weird.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
So Solo Sikoa is in the ring, and he asks the crowd to acknowledge him in Cleveland, Ohio. To which we want Roman chants, Roman. We're hoping that happens tonight. Rhodes brought up the fact that he beat Roman Reigns in a Bloodline Rules match at WrestleMania. And that's where, as soon as he mentioned that, I thought to myself, oh, go on, make tomorrow Bloodline Rules.
Yeah.
And that's what we got.
Yes, it is.
So, long story short with this, the other members of the Bloodline 2.0 make their way through different areas of the arena. Tungaloa turned out last, of course. And to me, I just thought he missed his cue again. Just that's what he does, isn't it? In everything he does. So Bloodline Rules was offered by Solo and Cody with dumb babyface syndrome. Never one to back down from a challenge.
Of course not.
Says yes, and Cody basically was defiant, said, "I'm not afraid of you." And he looked at Jacob Fatu and he says, I'm not a smart man for saying this, but I'm not afraid of you, you dumb son of a bitch, which I thought was awesome.
He's not a smart man.
No. And he also took a dig at Solo, saying that seeing as the tribal chief's not here, I guess I'll settle for a wannabe.
Yeah.
So that got a big pop from the crowd. And then next up, I think we had our first singles match of the evening, which was Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes.
Oh yeah.
This is the second match they've had. Okay.
Yeah.
And Andrade's won both. I'm thinking we go best of 7, like Sheamus and Cesaro did.
Mm.
I'm hoping
Yeah.
that's what they do.
We haven't had one for a while, so yeah, why not?
No, I mean, whether it ends up, I don't think it will result in them being a tag team like the Bar.
Yeah.
But that worked amazing when that happened. I really liked the Bar. But this match was it was a slow burner. It started off slow, but it really kind of picked up. So they fought 2 weeks ago, and they had some interesting spots. I think Carmelo Hayes, he was like in the middle rope, and he used the momentum bouncing on the middle rope to deliver a suplex into the ring, which was cool. Another strong match. They all hit their signature moments. Andrade with his moonsault, where he lands on his feet and does the moonsault again. Good stuff from both again.
Yeah.
Andrade picks up the win with a roll-up. So Hayes is 0-2. So I can see Hayes winning the next one, and then Andrade going 3-1, and then Hayes winning the next 2 to take it to 3-3 to get that 7th one.
That's a shout. Yeah. Keeps them both on TV.
Yeah.
Competitive.
Yeah, and it builds a solid US title picture. We need it needs to be like the IC title picture. So, we hope LA Knight's going to win tomorrow. Andrade, Hayes, maybe throw Baron Corbin in there, someone reliable like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a good match. And I think after that, forgive me if I've got my things mixed up, we had Santos Escobar versus Apollo Crews.
Oh yeah.
It was not really anything massive here. I think before this, there was a segment of Legado in the back, and Santos was kind of rallying his crew and almost having a go at them, like chastising them.
Scolding.
Yeah, scolding. That's the word I'd use. Yeah, good word. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And he was mainly aiming it at Berto and Garza, because who would want to shout at Electra Lopez? That would be mean.
Nobody.
No.
Leave her alone.
Look at that face. Honestly, who would shout at that face? But no, it was pretty nothing here. Baron Corbin was ringside. There was interference. Baron Corbin, who is a Golden Glove boxing champion, delivered a nice looking knockout punch to one of the two on the outside. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
But eventually there's some interference. I think one of them hides under the ring at some point. And then the person who's under the ring grabs Cruz's leg, and the referee's back's turned, and then they roll him in. Phantom driver, game over. I thought the person under the ring was a third person, but it turns out it was just one of the two. But Santos gets the win in no time at all, really. But yeah, nothing really to write home about.
Standard.
Apollo Crews' theme music has somehow got worse. Thought his old theme tune was terrible, and this one is even worse. So big up Def Rebel.
GG.
And then I think we had Logan Paul, man in the spotlight, should we say? He basically had this homecoming celebration for his return to Cleveland, where he's from. He was the first person we saw when the show came on the air, I think.
Yeah.
So he's in the ring. He's got Nick Aldis with him and 3 dignitaries from Cleveland, right? Whatever the hell that means. And he addressed LA Knight and said, I've never met a man so eager to take my belt off me, and says, you're not my type. Which was witty, wasn't it?
Very.
He was getting booed like crazy. Now, we're not going to go over why, but he might be getting booed because of his social media activity. He might be getting booed because he's just generally an asshole. We don't know. He always gets booed. He then basically said that I am Cleveland, and then he just turned on them, which is, classic heel behavior. And then he basically says the only reason they cheer LA Knight is because the fans can relate to him, because they're a bunch of tryhards who never amount to anything as well.
Yeah.
Which is pretty harsh. Yeah. He went to introduce his dignitaries, but Aldis said, I couldn't find anything on these people when I Googled them. Paul waved it off, and basically he had a lot of the crowd were looking up during this promo. I don't know if you noticed that. There was some crowd looking up in the air. I was like, what are they looking at?
Yeah.
And then Paul said he had a special banner made for him. And I assume it was just like a vanity project.
Yeah.
So the banner drops, and it's basically a picture of Logan Paul with the word "yeah" kind of spray painted across it.
Yeah.
LA Knight was there on the stage. He ran his mouth, as you do. And he basically said, he's not from Cleveland, you're from a suburb of Cleveland. And then LA Knight said, I've got a present for you. I'm going to give you something good. So he went back to find a new banner. But he ended up just stealing his prime truck, his pickup.
Yeah.
And then he just drove out the arena. Logan Paul was running and screaming like a schoolgirl.
Yeah. That was really, really good.
Yeah, it was a bit camp, wasn't it? But I think, for a US title feud, which we haven't really been spoiled with in a long time, I think there's enough heat for this to be good.
Yeah.
They just need to get the finish right. So I think Logan Paul winning tomorrow is a disaster in more ways than one.
Definitely.
So, yeah. I think this is probably the second most predictable match on the card outside of Cody and Solo.
Yeah, it's got to be LA Knight.
Yep. And then I think we got a backstage segment with Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax.
Yeah.
And Nia Jax introduced a pink briefcase.
Hey.
Probably the worst kept secret on SmackDown. We all saw this coming, didn't we?
Yeah. I think Tiff literally said she was going to decorate it.
Yeah. Looks great. Really, really like it. I was disappointed there was no Bailey on the show. So they had a discussion about, I'll give you this, but don't cash in tomorrow when I win. And Tiffany was very, yes, ma'am, 3 bags full, ma'am. She was obviously very grateful for the pink briefcase.
Yeah, and the princess and queen dynamic.
Yeah, princess and queen dynamic. Yeah, I think that works quite well.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Nia Jax exits, and in comes Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And the Chelsea Green and Tiffany Stratton dynamic, I think, is something that needs to be explored.
Yeah,
because they are probably the two best at that sort of character in the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Chelsea was basically saying how she's basically jealous, isn't she? And she was saying that I would prefer to see Cha-Ching Chelsea on the briefcase instead of Tacky Time.
I did like Cha-Ching Chelsea.
Cha-Ching Chelsea, yeah. And then Tiffany basically looks shocked, flicks her hair and says toodles, and Chelsea looks disgusted. It's Battle of the Karens, isn't it?
Yeah, they're made for each other.
Battle of the Karens. Women's tag titles. So there was a segment before this with Bianca and Jade backstage, and in the background you could just see Blair Davenport sitting there.
Oh yeah.
So it's a bit of a foreshadowing. I honestly didn't think it would lead to anything. I just thought it was, oh look, there's Blair Davenport. So the tag titles were on the line. A lot of people were thinking that Jade and Bianca were going to win. I actually said on social media, I think that Isla and Alba were going to win. Technically they did. Technically they didn't. I also thought there was going to be like dissension between Jade and Bianca.
Yeah.
So I was half right in the fact that they kept their titles. I thought the match was okay. I think every time I see Bianca wrestle, she's just insane at what she does. She's one of the best workers in the world in the women's division. Just enjoy watching Bianca wrestle all the time. You can see Jade getting better. She's still green, isn't she?
Yeah. You can tell she gets the business, though.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think she'll be fine. I think she's with the right person. Bianca's probably the best person she could be with. They've got good chemistry together. Their personalities, kind of match each other. And they look kind of like a decent superhero team, don't they?
Yeah, they're both like really jacked, athletic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Incredible. Yeah. Like crazy physique. And I think it was a bit sad that the champions came out first with an ad break, whereas Bianca and Jade got the full entrance. I don't like that. I think it's a bit disrespectful, but they're the attraction, so to speak. So yeah, good match. I think Isla and Alba are really underrated in the ring. It was all going well for Bianca and Jade until Blair Davenport showed up on the outside and threw Cargo into the steps, forcing a disqualification.
Yeah.
Some were disappointed. I wasn't really disappointed because I didn't want Jade and Bianca to win, and I didn't see them getting pinned.
I thought it worked really well as well.
Yeah. Blair. Blair's been feuding with Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
And now Blair is joining these three as the British heels. So it leaves room for Naomi to join up with Bianca and Jade, which goes back to our point earlier about the number of female stables or trios that we're getting. So I am wondering where this is going. I was sort of semi-excited, semi-cautious. But Blair, I think, with the Unholy Union is fine.
Yeah, works for me.
Yeah, works for me. Blair's a very good talker. Blair's a very good wrestler. Nothing wrong with Blair at all.
Nope.
But yeah, that was that. I thought they were going to lose, but I'm glad they kept the titles at least.
Yeah, it was interesting. A swerve.
Yeah, because a lot of people think, they only gave them the titles because they're in Scotland. Now they're out of Scotland. They can take them off them, but not the case.
No.
Main event. Men's Tag Team Championships. We all knew what was going to happen here.
Yeah, very predictable.
Yeah. So DIY had a cool. They had a nice intro. Would you say, to their entrance?
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano's from Cleveland, so hometown boy. He was with his. Is he married to Candice LeRae? Yeah, wife. Yeah, married. Yeah, his wife and his child. Indy Hartwell was there as well. And it was just setting you up for disappointment, wasn't it? You get the hometown guy. I love my hometown. Look at me. I've got my family here and everything.
Yeah, definitely losing now.
Yep. So DIY defending the tag titles against the Bloodline, Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu. I think the fact that Jacob Fatu was in this match instead of Tonga Loa tells you exactly what was going to happen here.
Yep.
The match itself, I thought it was okay. In terms of the in-ring, I think Gargano and Ciampa, always great. Tama Tonga, I think, is a solid worker.
He is, yeah.
And Fatu is on a different level.
Yeah, just nuts.
It kind of all came together at the end when it's Johnny Gargano in the ring, and he delivers a crazy DDT to Jacob Fatu, who, because he is a Samoan, has a head made of obsidian, and he just kind of gets up and he delivers a flurry of moves. Jacob Fatu actually hit the prettiest moonsault ever.
Yep.
which I thought was quite funny. And he did it incredibly well. He finished Gargano off with a huge kind of floating impaler DDT that kind of turned into a swinging neck breaker at the end.
Yeah.
And that was
Really
it.
good.
1, 2, 3. A lot of upset people on social media.
Womp womp.
Yeah, womp womp. I think this was the right decision. I think the tag team division is absolute ass at the moment. And it's not DIY's fault, it's Triple H's fault. Because the
Yeah.
tag team division has been given no importance whatsoever, to the point where to make the tag team championships relevant, they need to be involved in the Bloodline story. So from that point of view, I think it was the only decision they could have made.
Yeah.
DIY held the title for 28 days, which is not a massive reign by any means, but it is a
No.
reign. But I mean, what was going to if DIY kept the titles, what would happen? We'd have a gauntlet match next week,
Mm.
and then a title
Another
match the
one.
week after,
Yeah.
and then we get 4 tag teams in a fatal 4-way. You know what I mean? That's just what's happening. There's no stories in the tag division. Whereas now, being part of the Bloodline story, they're going to have some significance. So that's why I think it wasn't a terrible move. But I do think a terrible move is the tag division as a whole needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
'Cause
Across the board.
We love tag team wrestling, and it's in its darkest days for a very long time at the moment.
Very much.
Solo Sikoa stood tall, doing his Christian Cage impression, holding all the belts.
Yeah. I am the tag team champions.
I am the tag team champions. He is the Freebird himself. And that was Smackdown.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that is our weekly wrestling recap. We are getting ready for SummerSlam. We will be doing a SummerSlam reactions video tomorrow. And then coming up next week, we have a tribalism episode. We'll be discussing what is wrestling tribalism, where does it come from, and how can you avoid it? And top 10 wrestling theme tunes, which I'm very much looking forward to. Nothing like a bit of music to get the soul going.
Definitely. That would be a good one.
Any more thoughts before SummerSlam, Kronus? You're ready and geared?
Yeah. Just ready to go now.
Yeah.
Not too long.
Yeah, as long as we can stay awake until, well, it starts at midnight for us, doesn't it? So 7 hours to go.
Yeah, slept in preparation, so it should be all right.
Yeah. So to all you people complaining about a 3 p.m. WrestleMania, screw you guys.
Things we do for content.
Exactly. The rest of you guys who don't complain about that kind of thing, we love you. Hit the like and subscribe button, please. And we'll see you in a few days' time.
Yeah, with the SummerSlam.
All right.
Next.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.